A spider racing across your garage uses a leg system your body does not have. You can see the clue when those same legs curl inward. Watch a living spider dart beneath a storage bin, and its 8 thin legs seem to extend in an instant. Later, you may find a motionless spider with those legs folded tightly beneath its body. The sprint and the curl look like opposite events, yet both reveal the same machinery in 2 different states. One shows the system at work, the other shows what happens when it stops. The difference begins inside the joints, where a spider does not always have the opposing muscles you would expect. A spider's legs have a rigid external skeleton divided into segments. Flexible membranes join those segments, allowing each joint to bend. Inside the body flows hemolymph, a fluid that does some of the work blood does in vertebrates. Spider legs have plenty of muscles, but the arrangement at key extension joints is unusual. Flexor muscles pull the segments inward, while certain joints have no matching extensor muscle to pull them outward again. So spiders do not have muscle-free legs. Far from it. The real puzzle is narrower. Some joints bend with muscular force, but straighten with help from internal pressure. Your elbow makes a useful comparison. One group of muscles bends the joint, while an opposing group straightens it. One side contracts, the other relaxes, and your forearm changes position. Several major joints in a spider's leg are not miniature versions of that system. Flexor muscles draw those joints inward. Increased pressure in the hemolymph helps drive them outward. Not muscle-free. Not a tiny human limb. A pressure-assisted system built into particular joints. That detail matters because the word hydraulic can quickly get stretched too far. A spider is not a machine powered entirely by fluid, and every joint does not extend in exactly the same way. Some parts of the leg have muscles that help with extension. At joints without a conventional extensor, though, pressure provides the outward force that an opposing muscle normally would. How does pressure inside the body become a controlled step? First, the nervous system coordinates muscular activity across the spider's body and legs. Changes in its internal mechanics raise the pressure of the hemolymph. Fluid carries that force into the leg, where the pressure acts across flexible membranes around specific joints. The membrane changes shape, the angle between the rigid segments opens, and the leg extends. The flexor muscles then pull the joint inward again during another part of the stride. Pressure helps open it. Muscles help close it. Across 8 legs, the nervous system has to time these actions closely enough to hold up the body, grip the surface, and carry the spider in the direction it chooses. Pressure becomes motion. Step by step. Hydraulic-like is a fair description because pressurized fluid is transmitting force. Still, a spider is far more complicated than a piston moving through a metal cylinder. Its joints are living structures. Membranes deform, joint geometry redirects force, muscles adjust posture, and sensory organs keep reporting how the body is moving. The pressure system never works by itself. It works as one part of a coordinated animal. This explanation comes from more than the visible shape of a spider's legs. Classic experimental research by D.A. Perry and R.H.J. Brown, published in the Journal of Experimental Biology, examined pressure and leg extension in spiders. Their work helped establish the link between internal fluid pressure and the outward movement of joints without the usual extensor muscles. Later biomechanics research has kept examining how pressure, joint structure, muscles, and elastic tissues work together during locomotion. That evidence gives us a different way to understand a spider's speed. A rapid change in pressure can produce rapid extension, opening a leg without waiting for an opposing extensor muscle to pull it into place. While the spider runs, that outward force joins a fast sequence repeated across several legs. In jumping species, internal pressure can also contribute to the extension that launches the body, although its exact role varies with anatomy and behavior. Pressure, however, is not the single secret behind every sprint and jump. Speed also depends on flexor muscles, joint angles, body size, surface grip, sensory feedback, elastic tissues, and nervous system timing. Pressure extends certain joints. The whole animal coordinates the movement. Blur that difference, and a true biological fact becomes a misleading one. This is where the familiar curl starts to make sense. While a spider is alive and functioning normally, it can generate and regulate the forces that extend its legs. After death, that active regulation ends. The outward force supported by pressure fades, so the joints no longer stay in the same extended position. Their inward bending structure, flexor system, and passive properties draw the legs beneath the body. What remains is a posture that reveals which way those joints tend to move after active extension disappears. Pressure produces extension. When the pressure is lost, so is the extension. The inward bias finally shows. A spider with folded legs cannot always be declared dead from posture alone. Dehydration, serious weakness, injury, or a disruption in normal pressure regulation can cause a similar curl. A living spider in severe distress may no longer be able to extend its legs properly. A dead spider's posture can also vary depending on its position, surroundings, condition, and how long it has remained motionless. The curl is a mechanical clue, not a perfect test. Picture a motionless spider near a basement wall or behind a box. Those folded legs can tell you something unusual about how spiders move, but they cannot answer every question. The posture cannot identify the species. It cannot tell you whether the spider presents a meaningful medical risk, and it cannot always confirm that the animal is dead. What should you do with that information? Do not touch an unfamiliar spider just to find out whether it is alive. Watch from a reasonable distance and give it time to move. If an active spider needs to be removed from a living area, minimize contact and relocate it only when you can do so safely. If its identity or location causes concern, keep your distance and seek appropriate local help instead of guessing from the position of its legs. The curl is evidence of mechanics. It is not permission to handle the spider. One boundary still matters, because the phrase hydraulic legs is memorable enough to spread as a viral half-truth. Hemolymph pressure does not replace every muscular action. The spider does not apply it identically at every joint, and pressure alone cannot explain the entire walking process. Spiders still have extensive musculature. Their muscles bend joints, stabilize segments, reposition the body, and contribute to movements that pressure could never organize by itself. Elastic structures may store or return some energy as the joints deform. Tiny sensory organs track forces, vibrations, and changes in position. Each foot has to grip or release the surface at the right instant. 4 pairs of legs must trade support without letting the body collapse between steps. Extension is one part of the sequence. Flexion, adhesion, balance, sensation, and timing finish the job. Researchers are still refining how each contribution changes among species, body sizes, speeds, and behaviors. A small web-building spider, a ground-running spider, and a jumping spider do not put the same demands on their legs. The proportions may change, even though the basic principle of pressure-assisted extension remains. And the narrower claim loses none of its force. At important joints, spiders use internal fluid pressure where humans rely on an opposing muscle. Think again about the spider vanishing beneath your garage shelf. Its legs are not swinging like 8 smaller versions of your own. Internal pressure helps open key joints, while muscles, elastic tissues, sensory systems, and the nervous system coordinate each stride. From across the room, the movement looks simple. Inside the spider, pressure and tension are trading places with exact timing. Then look at the curled spider. Once pressure-supported control ends, extension becomes difficult or impossible, and the leg's inward tendency takes over. Pressure explains the extension. Its loss helps explain the curl. The running spider and the folded body are not two unrelated curiosities. They show the same system in different states. Spider movement is neither muscleless nor a scaled-down version of human movement. It is a hybrid system. Muscles pull, fluid pressure pushes, joints redirect the force, and the nervous system turns all of it into coordinated motion. We tend to judge spiders by the sudden speed that startles us, or the folded posture that makes them seem lifeless. But even a curled leg preserves a clue to an unusual piece of biomechanics. If you find an unfamiliar motionless spider, watch without touching it. Treat the curl as evidence of how the animal moves, not proof of its identity or danger. Subscribe to Backyard Second Look for more hidden mechanisms in the wildlife living close to home.